This is not great. The implications of the potential new CBA deal, if they took the deal right now, the Indiana Fever roster. And I did a video earlier. We talked about things like the implications of a delayed season on the Indiana Fever, etc. This is a bigger issue. This is a personnel.
That expression is the look of someone realizing their championship opportunity might close before it truly begins. An article by Robin Lundberg explains how the new CBA could affect Indiana, and Fever fans should pay close attention. The roster situation isn't just difficult. The numbers make it seem almost impossible to manage.
Put Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham on the outside of the Fever looking in. It could cause them to have to go to other teams. And we're talking about two massive fan favorites. And I'm just going to say it. What do you do here? What do you do? You're going to lose two players for one because that's what...
Two fan favorites, two key rotation players, but only one max contract available. And according to salary cap projections, the numbers simply don't work. Lexie Hull often starts games, while Sophie Cunningham comes off the bench as a sixth player, bringing energy and strong three-point shooting. Both are loved by the fans, yet both could be gone after this season. The problem isn't that Indiana doesn't want to keep them. The reality is that once Kelsey Mitchell signs her new contract, the team may no longer be able to afford them. What makes this even tougher is that the Fever spent an entire season building chemistry, shaping their rotations, and creating a clear team identity. Something special is finally forming in Indiana, but the new CBA structure now threatens to break that progress apart. Keeping this core together will be a serious challenge for the franchise.
It will be a challenge for the franchise to keep its core together going forward. This stems from looming changes to the WNBA salary structure and the reality that cornerstone pieces, Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, will eventually move on from their rookie contracts. It's my understanding Aaliyah Boston's salary is going to go way up, too. And that could end up being a real issue. That first factor that will have immediate implications as soon as the league and the Players Association finally come to terms on the new CBA. This is because salaries for players are set to skyrocket in the new deal, potentially creating...
This is where the situation becomes very clear. Under the proposed CBA, each team would have a salary cap of about $5.65 million. Max player salaries could reach $1 million, while the average salary would be close to $500,000. Now consider Indiana's core three players. Kelsey Mitchell, entering free agency, is expected to demand a supermax contract worth around $1 million. Caitlin Clark is still on her rookie deal, but that contract still takes up valuable cap space. Aaliyah Boston is also nearing the end of her rookie contract, and her salary could rise significantly once she becomes eligible for an extension. Just these three players would already take a large portion of the team's salary cap. That leaves very little money to complete the rest of the roster, possibly even less than the average player salary. And that's where the real challenge begins. Lexie Hull isn't an average player. She's a starting-level talent known for strong defense and three-point shooting. Sophie Cunningham is also far from average, bringing veteran leadership, playoff experience, and reliable shooting. Both could easily attract contracts above the league average on the open market.
Do a video on it because some of the things in there we've already talked about at great length. But once I saw how this is going to break down, the implications of it on the Fever, I was like, yeah, let's do a video on it. Broke down the numbers in the league's proposal, citing the Fever as an example, given Kelsey Mitchell's free agency and likely supermax contract salary. As Constable noted, if Mitchell were to receive the new max, her contract combined with Clark...
Make the situation clear. If Kelsey Mitchell receives the supermax contract she's expected to get in free agency, Indiana will face a very difficult decision. Lexie Hull is a restricted free agent, so the Fever could match any offer for her. But doing that would require money they may not have left for the rest of the roster. Sophie Cunningham, on the other hand, is an unrestricted free agent and has already said she wants a more secure contract. The question is whether Indiana can offer that security while trying to fill the bench with minimum deals. Right now, only 4 players are under contract for next season, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and last year's rookie Michaela Timpson among them. Everyone else could enter free agency, and with the new salary structure, bringing the whole group back will be much harder. For now, Indiana has a small advantage because Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston are still on rookie contracts. This gives the team a short window where they aren't paying supermax salaries to both of their franchise stars. But that window won't last long. Boston's rookie deal ends after next season, and Clark's runs through 2027. Once their extensions begin, both could command supermax contracts worth around 20% of the salary cap each. That creates a serious challenge. If Kelsey Mitchell also earns a supermax deal, 3 players alone would take up about 60% of the entire salary cap. That leaves only 40% of the cap to sign the remaining 9 players on the roster. With average salaries in the new CBA approaching $500,000, Indiana would have roughly $2.25 million left for those 9 spots, about $250,000 per player. That's well below the league average and makes building a deep, championship-level roster extremely difficult. This is why timing matters so much. The Fever didn't have Caitlin Clark fully healthy for a complete playoff run. They still made the playoffs and showed real potential, but they didn't go far enough to meet championship expectations. That was supposed to be fine because the plan was to bring the same roster back, build stronger chemistry, and make a serious title push next season. But now the new CBA has changed that plan. The team that was expected to grow together for several years may only have one more season in this form, and if Indiana can't afford to keep both Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham this summer, that window could close even sooner.
The max salary is expected to be $1 million and the average salary approaching $500,000, maintaining multiple high-level players while preserving roster depth will require careful balancing. Assuming that Mitchell is re-signed, her contract will jump more than 4 times in value from the base salary of $250,000 in 2025 and would account for a higher percentage of the cap as well as in the current.
Looking at the most likely scenario, Indiana will probably prioritize Kelsey Mitchell. Letting a max-level guard leave for nothing simply isn't realistic. The team could also match any offer Lexie Hull receives, since she's a restricted free agent, and losing a young starting caliber player would be a major mistake. That would leave Sophie Cunningham in a difficult position. As an unrestricted free agent, she's likely to receive multi-year offers with guaranteed money from other teams. Indiana may not have the salary cap flexibility to compete with those deals while still maintaining roster depth. If that happens, the Fever could lose one of their most popular players. The team would lose valuable scoring off the bench and an experienced veteran presence in the locker room. In many ways, it's a tough situation created by the new CBA, which forces teams to make difficult choices between keeping star players and maintaining depth on the roster.
The offers she receives, but her hustle and shooting has proven to be worth more than an average player. While Cunningham, who's made it clear she hopes to be back with the team, has also expressed desire for a more secure contract. So perhaps running it back won't be as straightforward as it once seemed, as the front office will be tasked with attempting to work out deals that also will allow room for depth.
What makes this situation especially frustrating for Indiana is that the team actually did everything the right way. They drafted Aaliyah Boston in 2023, who quickly became an elite two-way center. Then they secured the first pick in 2024 and selected generational talent Caitlin Clark. Around those franchise stars, they built a balanced roster with complementary players like Lexie Hull and Sophie Cunningham, while also bringing in a solid coaching staff. Everything about the roster construction made sense, but now the league's financial structure may force them to break that team apart. Unlike the NBA, where teams can use tools like luxury tax flexibility, mid-level exceptions, and bird rights to keep their own players, the WNBA operates with a strict hard cap. Once a team reaches the salary limit, there's no extra flexibility to retain key players. The new CBA does raise salaries, which is important because WNBA players have long been underpaid. However, it also creates a difficult side effect. Teams that draft well and build strong chemistry, like Indiana, can be forced to break up their core simply because they can't afford everyone.
Will surely command supermax salaries, which is the equivalent of 20% of the cap in the proposed deal. Even if that percentage comes down, keeping 3 max players and still having room to field a representative roster appears unlikely, given what we know about how the CBA looks. Wow. So it sounds like, man, that tells you how big of a loss it was to have not had Caitlin Clark last year healthy for this team, because this team's not going to look the
Meanwhile, teams that made poor roster decisions can reset without facing the same consequences. For fans, this can be frustrating as well. Supporters spend a season watching players grow together, buying jerseys, and emotionally investing in the team. But just as the roster starts to reach its potential, financial rules may force the group to split apart before it ever peaks.
tract. And then Sophie's going to get something at least slightly above average. Oh, the Indiana Fever may have an issue here. They may have to make a choice here, because it looks to me like when you peel back all the layers, what this article, what this breakdown tells you is you're not keep 3 max players. Like beyond this season, the Kelsey, Caitlin, Aaliyah thing is probably, that's not going to happen. You might have 2 somehow, but it's going to be extremely hard to keep everybody together. Wow. I knew that was, look, even without a new CBA, the way things were constructed, I knew if you gave Mitchell a supermax, that salary was that salary was going to impact the rest of your roster. Now, I mean,
This problem won't affect only Indiana. Any team with multiple star players could face the same issue. The structure of the new CBA encourages teams to avoid paying several max contracts at once, which means even the best teams may constantly have to weaken their rosters to stay under the cap. Ironically, this comes at a time when the WNBA is experiencing major growth. Ratings are rising, attendance is increasing, and sponsorship deals are expanding. Ideally, this would be the moment when successful teams could build long-term contenders. Instead, the salary system may lead to constant roster changes that make sustained dominance harder. For Indiana's front office, the situation is extremely difficult. Letting Kelsey Mitchell leave isn't realistic because replacing a star guard in free agency is nearly impossible. Losing Lexie Hull would also be a major setback, since starting-level wings are hard to find.